I'm going through changes. That is what it's like when you live in Russia. There was a time when you can get residency based off of being married to a Russian citizen. That's what it was like when I arrived to Russia. That's right. That's all you needed was to be married with a Russian citizen and you can get your permanent residency. Now, I believe that this changed soon after I arrived. Now, I wasn't looking into getting married with anybody from Russia. I came to Russia as a tourist. I came to Russia to explore, but I can understand why the Russian Federation would do away with this law because guess what? In the United States, there is a lot of people who get married for citizenship. Now, in recent years, Russia has been experiencing this sort of illegal, in a way, immigration just based off of fake marriages, right? And so they would ended up amending that part of the law where you no longer can just simply get married to receive your permanent residency. They raised the bar. They raised that bar so high because for you to obtain residency, you would have had to had a child who is a Russian citizen. Now, when I was getting ready to get married, you know what? I wasn't really thinking about kids. But when I did get married, I had already learned that the law had changed and there was no way for me to get permanent residency based off of my marriage. And of course, I was trying to grow a family. I'm 35 years old now. My son just turned 5 weeks, and I was in no rush to start a family. But back in 2024, definitely it was something that I wanted, but not to get permanent residency. I figured, you know what? When my son is born, I then will apply for permanent residency. But guess what? That bar has been raised yet again. You can no longer receive permanent residency based off of having a child being born in the Russian Federation and being a Russian citizen. I am, of course, talking about the new decree 821, which says that people who wish to apply for permanent residency not only have to have, they could have the prerequisites that I mentioned before, but they are not guaranteed permanent residency anymore because now they need to do military service or other things which the decree mentions. I made a video talking about the decree in detail and the live, you can check those out. What I want to talk about today is just how these changes affect people, because there's many people in the comment section saying, "Oh, well, it's not safe for me to go anymore. I don't plan on going to Russia." Of course, the new citizenship laws also changed. If you want to apply for citizenship, military service is required, and they did the same thing for the permanent residency. It is suspected that this new decree has been in place for the same reason they changed the law back when I first arrived, because simply too many immigrants are having babies with natives. They're getting married still just for papers and citizenship, so they have no problem having babies and getting married for their citizenship, okay? This is something that is trying to get curved by the Russian government. And honestly, it scared a lot of the people who came here under the shared values visa. That was the Decree 702. That is temporary residency, and those people are not affected by this decree. Not yet, because if this is something that's worrying them, not yet, because after their 3-year temporary residency is over, then they would have to apply for permanent residency. And right now, there is nothing stopping the government from asking those people to have also military service or other types of services which are mentioned in the decree. What do you guys think? Is this new decree counterproductive if Russia is looking for immigrants from other places? Because we know that Russia has had a huge problem with immigration from Central Asia, okay? These are countries that were previously tied with the Russian Federation during the time of the Soviet Union. Now, I think that the immigration into Russia is the same as the immigration into the United States from the Hispanic American countries. You understand? These are countries that are not as economically advanced as the Russian Federation and the United States, so you have people coming looking for jobs. But this does cause a lot of problems with the societies that are already taking place in the native Russia and the United States, where you have clashes of immigrants with the natives, where they're not assimilating so well. And so this new decree is basically saying, hey, if you want to stay, the best way of assimilation is show that you love your country and go serve. All right. And this already existed in the United States as well, by the way. When people get their green cards or their permanent residency, they do have the option to join the military and gain their citizenship. And they are going to apply for the selective service or something like this. It's existing in the United States. What people fail to mention is that some countries have it worse than Russia. There's many ways of getting around military service in Russia, whether you're unfit mentally, physically, if you're going to school, if you're a person who is well educated enough and is important in the job site. There's different types of waivers. Other countries like South Korea, it doesn't matter if you are the president or if you're a pop singer, if you're an athlete, or you think that your poop don't stink. That is absolutely mandatory and you're not getting out of it. Russia is not the only country with this type of military service. Even my other citizenship of Mexico, you also have to do mandatory service. Compulsory military service is nothing new. It is not a sign of a dictatorship. It is a sign of a country that is trying to get its population fit for what may come ahead. Now, I have to say, I am not bothered by these changes. I simply am letting you know that if you do plan on coming to Russia, you have to get used to playing on expert mode. I've mentioned it many times, and I repeat it so many times because some people are shocked that this is happening. Some people are shocked that Russia would do something like this, and it seems a little bit it's so embarrassing because the majority of the people are from Western countries, right? And it's not a good look. It's not a good look. There have been Westerners who have served in the Russian military, and we're not special. Okay, let me just say that right now. You are not special if you're from Germany, if you're from France, if you're from the United States, if you're from Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and all these other European countries. You're not a special person. There's immigrants coming from other places as well, and now this new decree is obligating them to either go get checked if they have the mental and physical capacity to have military service. I'm going to be doing this. I've already told you guys I have to do it. I have to go down to the recruitment office and say, hey, this is my situation. This is who I am. This is my medical records. I'm pretty messed up, but we have to see what they say. I am not telling you guys that you should not come to Russia. Like I said, I don't want to scare you. If you're coming under the 702 decree, you have 3 years for the decree that was in place recently to change. It usually happens in Russia where they stack decrees on top of each other, amending. Essentially, in the future, there could be an amendment saying if you came under the shared values, you probably wouldn't have to have the military service. It's totally possible. It hasn't happened yet, but a lot of the politicians who are promoting Western immigration, they're going to push on the government to amend this new decree. And it benefits actually the government to do this amendment because the 702 decree was unprecedented in recent history. Russia was not really receiving a lot of Westerners because it was very hard to come to Russia in the beginning. When I arrived, the 702 decree didn't even exist. You couldn't even come to Russia based off on shared values. And when that came into place, I had hundreds of people messaging me, and actually a couple dozen actually came to Russia. So guys, changes are constant in Russia. Okay, they're always happening. This is a country that plays on expert mode. If you enjoy my videos and if you support this channel, if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. My name is Dan Castle. I'm an American, a Mexican American who's living in Siberia in Russia. I'm married. I have a son here. I live in a small town, and I love giving you guys updates on what's going on in Russia, but giving you my perspective, which I'm a no nonsense guy. I shoot it to you guys straight, and I don't like to sugarcoat things. So remember, subscribe if you haven't already, turn on notifications, and let's continue. When the decree 821 came out, a lot of people were saying, hey, it's just an expedited way of getting citizenship and permanent residency. What didn't make sense to me when people were telling me that is, why would they do a way to expedite your residency and your citizenship? Why would anybody? I know, I understand some people just want residency so they didn't have to do military service, but now both of them have military service, so why would they do the same rules for both of them? Because this is the new normal, guys. A lot of people said, no, 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 it's not. No, yes, this is the new normal and you have to get used to it. I think from the bottom of my heart that the Russian Federation is doing good by making these new laws, because illegal immigration, this might sound really weird to you. Illegal immigration is illegal in Russia. Illegal immigration in the United States and in the United Kingdom is just another word for defining easy citizenship or easy immigration. Illegal immigration in Russia is illegal. They don't want it. Illegal immigration in the United States and the majority of Europe is, they call it illegal immigration, but it's just the easy immigration, the safe immigration, the immigration that they want. But in Russia, that is not what they want. So this decree is definitely going to curb the amount of people who are coming here to get married illegally just for benefits, coming here to have children illegally here just to have benefits. It's going to really, really force the person to assimilate. And I think after I'm done with this process, I don't know what's going to happen, but I will tell you my story when I get there. I, of course, have to wait until next year because I have to get some paperwork in order. I have paperwork that I have to get from my motherland where I came from. And right now I'm riding through my tourist visa, believe it or not. So we're going to see what happens when I cross that bridge. But you can really, really depend on me to let you know the truth, what they tell me, what I tell them, how I feel, and what you should probably do, because all of the information that I gather, we like to put on the Russian Experience. This is our Telegram. It's going to be linked down below. There we talk about how to move money into Russia, how to retire in Russia, the new laws that come out. We go over them and we dissect them. So we're going to have to see what happens, guys. Changes, they happen. This is Russia. I'll see you on the next video.